what I find really useful when invoicing out my service hours is to have an item number or item name for each of the services that I provide. To create an item for a service, you go to the inventory in the command center and select item list, then select new. Say I want to raise a new item for administration hours that I provide to companies. So instead of having an item number, I put a name in here. So I might have admin and hit tab. I find it easier to put a name rather than an item number because I find it easier to remember the name of the service rather than an item number. In the name here, you can just expand a bit more on the item number, so you might want to put administration hours or big nose or hairy chest, whatever you want. The thing to remember about a service item is you don't buy it, you sell it, and you don't inventorize it. So you don't buy your time or inventorize your time, you just sell it. So you select sell. It's really useful. I find this really useful because what I can do there is select in the income part of my profit and loss where I want these hours to go to. Now the last time I made an item, I put it to secretarial income, so that's where it's putting it to for me automatically because the last one's coming up. As it happens, secretarial income is what I might want it to go to, so I double click there. So every time you raise an invoice for admin, the dollars go into the profit and loss in the secretarial income section of the income section. Now then you go to item details. Now you can put a bit more description in here and you can have this come out on the invoice if you want. You can put anything from, you know, administration hours at Grouse Farm or administration hours in A office or B office, and then you can use, if you click here, you can use that description on your invoice instead of the name here, or you can actually have both. So if there's not enough to put the name in here, you go to your item details and use this as the description instead of the name. But I'm not going to do that. I'm happy with that. Again, you can have custom lists for different items, so you could have admin and have different admin items, so you'd want all those items to be in a certain list for admin. Or in my case, that's all I need, and that's all most people need, to be honest. Then you go to selling details. In here you can put your hourly rate, say it's 35. Then you can say whether that 35 is inclusive or exclusive of tax, and then you can say, which I have to warn you, don't touch this because what it can do is really muck things up, because you always want, if you're GST registered, you always want the GST to calculate on the actual selling price. Don't change it to the base selling price, because what will happen is if you change that 35 to 20 when you're raising your invoice, if you have it on base selling price, it will calculate the GST on the 35 and not the 20 that you've changed it to, and ultimately your tax won't work out. It won't be 10% because mathematically the GST would say 2 instead of $3.50. So I'd never touch that. Just a quick warning. And then here in history, once you start selling this product, then you'll start seeing a history. That's really just for information. So that's how you set up an item for a service invoice.